Hi, everybody. Peter Lurie here to take you through the week on HRTV. Churchill's closing weekend was highlighted by the Grade 1 Clark Handicap.
They come to the top of the lane in the Clark Handicap. Regal Ransom taken on by Duke of Mischief. Here's Demarcation and Dubious Miss to the outside. Successful Dan is looking for racing room. Demarcation went right across rivals. Badly hampered Dubious Miss. Now Successful Dan is bursting through on the outside. Giant Oak. It's Successful Dan and Giant Oak. These two duel inside the 16th and racing to the line. Successful Dan on the inside. Giant Oak on the outside. Successful Dan.
Successful Dan was bottled up. Julian Le Peru looking to get out, comes out, bumps hard.
Bam.
Giant Oak picks a day, finally picks a day to run. Now he's going to blast in. Successful Dan's wanting to play football today because the harder he hit other horses, the more he wanted to run. But I'm going to be very surprised if there's not an inquiry.
One into the objection by the third to the winner, and another steward's inquiry into the run of the fourth, affecting other horses in the lane, hold or tickets. Well, these two inquiries continue.
And what the stewards are looking at right now was reading Collery. What's done is done. Interesting.
I think you and I are done. Is that right?
We are done. We'll let everybody. The next shift.
Who would have thought that you and I'd be saying goodbye through with our shift and still not know who won the 2010 Clark?
Can I make a? I don't think it's going to be.
I agree. I think Giant Oak will wind up the winner of the 2010 Clark. And the best part about it, if I'm wrong, I'm off the set. Won't matter anyways.
News from Churchill Downs, a very messy Clark Handicap. There is a disqualification. That revised order of finish now 4-5-3-8. So Giant Oak declared the official winner.
Churchill's 2010 fall meet was home to the Breeders' Cup along with 12 other graded stakes.
Dancing in her dreams, had the Pocahontas won in a matter of strides. She's geared down to the line. She is a grey Rolls Royce, a flying machine dancing in her dreams. Rebo Bobo has taken second. He's still got a length and a half to find on Astrology, who is wandering under pressure, but he is finding more. And the Iroquois goes to Astrology, a star of the future. Battle of Hastings has taken the lead. Boots ahead to the inside. Midnight Mischief is closing up towards the line. Battle of Hastings, Joel Rosario take the 33rd, River City.
Demarcation and Apart. Apart takes the lead. Demarcation going with him. Coliseo back to third. Apart and a stubborn Demarcation, but Apart wins the Gak-Gak. Distinctive Dixie has opened up. And then Third Dawn, always a princess to the outside, and Bronx City Girl, Distinctive Dixie and Robbie Alvarado will prevail.
Arsball I Won't Tell flashing down the outside. Arsball I Won't Tell has now taken the lead for Sean Bridgebahan. Arsball I Won't Tell wins the Cardinal Handicap. Yankee Fortune is out in front. Yankee Fortune is going to win the Commonwealth Turf, unbeaten 5 out of 5 on turf. Wild Mia tries to re-rally and does so gamely to the inside, but Aruna is finding more. She's going to be a perfect 3 out of 3 in the USA. Aruna wins the Mrs. Revere. What a turn of foot. Dundalk Dust has come from last to first. High Quail now back to second and racing up towards the line. It is Dundalk Dust who's going to win the 4-City Handicap for Sean Bridgebahan and trainer Chris Block. Giant Oak, it's Successful Dan and Giant Oak. These two duel inside the 16th and racing to the line. Successful Dan on the inside, Giant Oak on the outside. Successful Dan! The revised order of finish for the Clark Handicap is first number 4, Giant Oak. But it is a one-horse procession down inside the final 16th. The golden rod of 2010 emphatically goes to Catman Blue. Down towards the final furlong they dash. Major gain, squeezed up against the rail. Santiva wanders under pressure. Astrology to the outside. Still 3 of them locked together. It is now Santiva who surges to the lead. Santiva wins the Kentucky Jockey Club.
Trainer Ken McPeak was on the phone following his win in the Goldenrod with Calfman Blue.
Did you have any idea that this horse was going to win as easily as she did?
Well, you had to have a lot of respect for several other fillies in the race, but, you know, she had trained really well coming out of the Breeders' Cup. Her breeze back was really, really sharp. She acted like she was ready to handle another step or another race. And, you know, she's good right now. There's no question.
Many of the horses who come out of the Breeders' Cup didn't run up to their peak their next time out. Was that at all a concern with this one?
Not really. You know, she's knocked out the feet race to race. She's really, really sturdy. You know, she's not a big filly, but she's very well made. She really likes what she does. Real high energy. You know, Dr. DeBosing and Evan Tromer, they bred a really good filly here, and she's quite easy to handle for the most part. She knocked out seed overnight, didn't leave a grain. You know, that's, you know, and it will be her last race of the season. There's really not any other hoops to jump through. We're going to back off of her a little bit, get her a ride down to Florida, get her settled in down there, and then, you know, clip her and ease her into the warmer climates, and then pick a race for her a little later in the year or early next year sometime, probably February if I had to guess.
WinStar's Brethren gave us a deja vu in an allowance race at Churchill on Saturday.
And here's Brethren down the outside, and Brethren has come and taken the lead. Justin Phillip now in second. El Grayling is back in third. The rest surely don't count now. They're inside the final furlong. It is Brethren who is out in front. He's clear now by a length and a half. El Grayling is trying to get back at him, but it is Brethren out in front. Brethren on the day that launched the career of Super Saver wins just like his half-brother.
Well, did we just see the 2011 Kentucky Derby winner winning at Churchill Downs? An allowance race? It's possible because Brethren, he is a half-brother to this year's Kentucky Derby winner, Super Saver.
Don't think that's ever happened, John, where brothers go back-to-back in the Kentucky Derby, but it's bound to happen one day.
The debate for the 2010 Horse of the Year began moments after the Breeders' Cup Classic. Trainer Al Stahl weighs in with his opinion.
All right, now I get to put you on the spot because it is the question out there everywhere. Horse of the Year, Blame versus Zenyatta.
Right.
And obviously I'm going to know what your take is on, but just sort of explain why Blame should be Horse of the Year over Zenyatta.
Well, I just, I don't know how the voting goes. There's different blocks and there's different groups that vote, and some blocks are carry more weight than others. So I don't really know anything about that, but if I was privy to vote, I would vote for Blame just because of what happened on the field, on the battlefield. We plotted our course all year long. We had one hiccup, and we were second in the Jockey Club Gold Cup. So it was just, you know, I just saw what happened that day, and our horse ran a very good race. I thought Blame had, Zenyatta had plenty of racetrack to get to Blame. I mean, Mike Smith, I think, hit her over 20 times, right-handed, left-handed. She, you know, so she just couldn't get by him, and she didn't. I never did get by him. We galloped out way in front of her, and I'm not saying we're a better horse than Zenyatta, but on that particular day, we did win the biggest prize. So I thought we had a great year, and if it's a Horse of the Year, I thought we had the best year because we won the Classic.
A lot of people obviously be saying that to Zenyatta, it's what she's done for racing, and as we talked about, as a horseman, you can certainly appreciate. I mean, Blame's done fantastic things for racing, but Zenyatta bringing in that whole new influx of fans, essentially, for the sport that you and I love so much, put so much passion into, and make a living out of.
Right. No, I love Zenyatta. I'm all for her. I think she's great for the game, and she's going to be great for the game.
This week, Zenyatta's career performances were the subject of John White's Top 10.
John had very kindly put together Zenyatta's top 10 performances.
You know, that number 10, don't forget, that was, tomorrow will mark the anniversary of that.
Yes,
it was on
will.
Thanksgiving. And this year, she also came off a layoff, returned to the races, and won the Santa Margarita Handicap. And remember, she's returning off the layoff here. She's carrying 127 pounds in this race. And look at those hands. Now Mike Smith goes, well, it's all over. You can hear the crowd in the background. Look at those ears. I think, obviously, one of her best races was her first race on the dirt, 2008 Apple Blossom Handicap. And that's a race where she was facing Ginger Punch. She went by Ginger Punch in this race. You know, just blows by her. And Ginger Punch would go on to win multiple Grade 1 races the rest of that year. But look at Zenyatta here, and this is when she wasn't the national star that she would become. But look at this, and this is when people said, look at this. People actually are still calling her a synthetic horse.
Yeah.
I guess they haven't seen this race very many times.
This is unbelievable.
Now, what was hard about this list? What do you do with this year's Breeders' Cup Classic? And for me, I think the win deserves the top spot on the list. She defeated 8 grade Group 1 winners in that Breeders' Cup Classic at Santa Anita. Over 50,000 people just going absolutely hoarse. And that's the race that, as Trevor Dedman said, it's unbelievable. And that'll go down for all time. So I think a lot of people, if you made the list, you could flip-flop those top 2. But for me, that race, I think, was the finest performance in a glorious career by Zenyatta.
When HRTV Rewind returns.
And it is Jersey Town, Haynesfield back at the rail. It's too close to call.
Oh, 5-4.
You see Haynesfield nose going down, but I think Jersey Town held. From this angle, we're 3,000 miles away trying to call photos. It looked like Jersey Town. That's who they're showing.
We saddled him up and said, well, let's go up and see what happens.
And the first quarter was drilled in 22-2. It was quick and contentious, and Cigar takes charge.
He continued on and he just drew away going a mile on the dirt.
It was at the Meadowlands, and Mike came over to me and he said, do you remember that horse Cigar that we were talking about? I said, yeah. He said, I rode him in an allowance race today. I said, oh, how did he do? He said, he ran off the TV screen. I said, really? He said, yeah. He said, he's a real deal on the dirt. Funny thing is, after that, Mike couldn't ride him. I remembered the conversation, and when my agent came to me, he said, Mott wants us to ride this horse Cigar. I said, ride him.
You know, the race was so impressive. You know, we ran him next time out in the Naira Mile.
And they're off. As the field turns for home, and it is Cigar. And Cigar running a monstrous race today to win the Naira Mile. And he did it decisively.
Named for the great Cigar, Aqueduct's mile event provided 8 furlongs of excitement right down to the wire.
And Brabone is only 3.5 from the lead with a quarter mile to go. At the backer, Musket Man and Half Metal Jacket. They are at the top of the stretch. Wide open here. Haynesfield's got a short lead on the outside. Jersey Town in with an upset chance. Girolamo and Brabone. Brabone coming now third on the outside. Then they're coming down to the finish. And it is Jersey Town. Haynesfield back at the rail. It's too close to call.
Too close to call, says Tom Durkin, as the long shot Jersey Town and Haynesfield hitting the wire together in the 22nd Cigar Mile.
There he is. 5-4. Jersey Town over
Jersey
Haynesfield.
Town looks like he's in front, but Haynesfield nose goes down right at the wire. But I think, at least from this angle, you see Haynesfield nose going down, but I think Jersey Town held. From this angle, we're 3,000 miles away trying to call photos. It looked like Jersey Town. That's who they're showing.
For Barkley Tag, who's no stranger to grade 1s. And I think either way, win or lose, Steve Asmussen should feel good about Haynesfield because, you know, I thought that in the Jockey Club Gold Cup, he ran the race of his life and we would never see anything like that again for him. But he was competitive today, which was very important.
He laid his body down. The photo is down. It is Jersey Town. That much. Yeah. Jersey Town, now a grade 1 winner. Haynesfield and Jersey Town, both by Speightstown. They run 1-2. There's Cornelio Velasquez, and we mentioned this combination. Chuck 50, Barkley Tag, Tail of Acadi, who upset in the 08 Wood and Cigar Mile. Now, an even bigger upset with Jersey Town in this year's Cigar Mile.
Aqueduct's week also included other graded stakes.
Our Christie in between horses. Funny Moon's on the outside. 3 of them across the track inside the 8th pole. And Spacey Tracy has running room now on the far outside. Here comes Spacey Tracy to take the lead and win the top flight handicap. Spacey Tracy over Our Christie and Qualia.
with a furlong to go and a 2-length lead. No Such Word, then Awesome Maria seeking the title and under the wire. No Such Word has won the Gazelle. Won it by almost 2.5 lengths over Awesome Maria. It was close for third there between Joni's Catch and Seeking the Title. Final furlong, and it's Dixie City who's opening up now by 5-6 lengths on Believe in AP. She made a big run on the far turn, but flattened it out late. And then Tap for Luck will be third as Dixie City does it in the Demoiselle. Believe in AP checks in second, a long way back to the third horse, Tap for Luck. Mountain Town third, the others too far behind. Down to the final 16th. It is To Honor and Serve. And Mucho Macho Man, To Honor and Serve. He's the real deal here, and won by 1 3/4 lengths. Final time, 1 minute 50 seconds flat. Mucho Macho Man second throughout, Mountain Town third.
This day in racing history takes us back to November 26, 2001. Seabiscuit, Laura Hildenbrand's best-selling book about the rags to riches story of a 1930s thoroughbred champion and the colorful people associated with him, was honored with the United Kingdom's prestigious William Hill Sports Book of the Year award. Author Jamie Gordon was on the phone with a synopsis of her 2010 National Book Award winner.
Tell us more about Lord of Misrule and what the story is all about.
It's about 4 characters who are surviving as best they can on the lowliest of bull ring racetracks in about 1970. In fact, the book is set in 1970. And they are a horse trainer, a young horse trainer who's gifted but obviously kind of troubled. His girlfriend, an elderly, very experienced black groom, and a loan shark from Baltimore who has always been on the fringes of the racetrack one way or another. These characters are circling each other through a year on the racetrack and 4 major races that keep building on one another towards the final big, minor, rinky-dink stakes race, a race that's been written for a kind of broken-down, old, great stakes horse named Lord of Misrule, and that's what the book is named after.
Coming up on HRTV Rewind.
Rose Kingdom there as well, but it's Buena Vista, her 6th Group 1 success.
Bullet drill, my friend. You ready to go?
Let's go.
All right. What year did Congress declare Thanksgiving a national holiday?
It was sometime during the war, I think. I don't know, like in the mid-50s or something, or 40s or whatever.
Good for you, man. You said the first words during the war, 1941.
Yeah, I sort of remember reading about something like that.
All right.
Okay.
What is a turducken?
It's a turkey with something. I don't know. I have no idea. You tell me.
It's a turkey with duck stuffed with a chicken.
Ugh. Just give me the turkey.
It's supposed to be good. And how fast can a spook turkey run? We're going in miles per hour.
I don't know. 50 miles an hour.
Something telling me that Zippy Chippy could have won this one. 20 miles an hour.
They're not fast enough to avoid the...
20 miles an hour.
All right.
Thanksgiving was opening day at the fairgrounds and was highlighted by the Thanksgiving Handicap.
Southern Style is right there coming toward the quarter pole. Cool Bullet now spots up. Mambo Galliano tucked in toward the rail as Normandy Shore gives way. Far outside is Sweet Southern Moon, Sock, and farther back in the field is Strike While It's Hot is last in the final furlong and a half. Mambo Galliano grapples and battles for in production on the outside. Cool Bullet. Far outside is Sweet Southern Moon. Inside the final 16th, here's Mambo Galliano. James Graham for Louis Roussel III in the Thanksgiving Handicap in New Orleans. Mambo Galliano going away.
HRTV's international coverage included the Japan Turf Cup from Tokyo Racecourse.
700 meters to run in the Japan Cup. And it's Shingen, one of the roughies from Victoire Pisa, Dandy Proof not too far away with Nakayama Festa. Meisho Beluga the fence. Rose Kingdom is in there behind them. 50 Proof losing ground. And here comes Buena Vista running on. Oken Bruce Lee as well. There was one that was covered outside but not sighted. Meisho Beluga running on. And Jaguar Male, the widest runner, starting to really storm home. But Victoire Pisa has found it. Here comes Buena Vista. Buena Vista and Victoire Pisa. Buena Vista and Victoire Pisa. Jaguar Male late. Rose Kingdom there as well, but it's Buena Vista, her 6th Group 1 success. It's going to be tight for second. Maybe Rose Kingdom from Victoire Pisa.
After a 24-minute inquiry, Buena Vista was moved down to second for interference in the stretch. Rose Kingdom was declared the winner in front of a crowd of more than 100,000. This week's Inside Information gives you an even closer look at the people behind Big Red.
When Reva did not win the Preakness, I thought Ronnie had sat back waiting for that cheap speed, BBB, to come back to it.
So anyway, Reva Ridge ran it, he finished fourth. He couldn't handle the track, didn't try to run at all. And I guess I got blamed for that one.
I was righteously blaming Ronnie. And Lucian said, you can't take him off, he won the Derby for you.
They never said anything to me, but I read in the paper that they were mad at me, and I really don't, I never heard anybody say that they were going to take me off until Mr. Birch asked me to ride Kitty the Men in the race. And I told him I would let him know.
We would go back to his office and have a drink after a good racing day, and sometimes after a bad one. But Ronnie came to me, best act you ever saw. And he, oh, Miss Pretty, I know I screwed up, but please don't take me off that horse.
And I went to Mr. Lauren, and I heard that you might take me off that horse. I said, well, if that's your intention, I want to know, within the day. I said, I got to know right now. I said, because Mr. Birch wants an answer. Mr. Lauren says, oh, I ain't going to let her do that to you, he says.
I'd already made up my mind that it was not a good political move to blame the jockey. The horse got beat. Come on, be a big girl. The horse got beat.
Then I knew I was on him, and then I kept on working him for the Belmont, and I rode him and won by 7 lengths.
He carried Reva Ridge a mile and a half. That was not a mile and a half horse.
That's all for HRTV Rewind this week. Here's what's coming up next week.
Ow! Hell, man, not a woman. I think that a woman. Get it on fame. Sabotage. Hey! Da, 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 da. Little I used to go out when I was like in my 20s, man. I used to go see James Brown all the time.